The United Nations is lifting the curtain on its most important annual gathering as the Middle East and global politics stand at a critical juncture. Well, the UN General Assembly is set to open in New York against a backdrop of growing uncertainty over regional conflicts and leadership changes. Mitch McCann takes a look at the issues at play.
As heads of state and government leaders converge on New York once again, there's one issue looming over High-Level Week in 2024. Recent polling indicates the US election is hanging in the balance, and the potential outcomes could have far-reaching implications for the future of the UN. There are even reports suggesting that the Democratic nominee Kamala Harris may make an appearance to address the gathering during the event.
I think whether she turns up or not will have a big impact. People are very, very afraid globally about the outcome of the November election in the United States. I think the UN survived Trump last time around, but I don't know if it can survive Trump 2.0, or certainly not survive, in its current configuration.
Simon Adams believes Donald Trump sees the UN as a waste of time and money, adding that a second Trump administration would be less favourable toward the international body. But Trump and Harris aren't the only leaders expected to turn heads if they arrive in New York. It will be the first high-level week since the war in Gaza began in October last year, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be in attendance.
His state is literally facing an accusation of genocide at the International Court of Justice, which is a UN-affiliated body, obviously. I think there will be protests, and I think there will be lots of questions around his presence.
Netanyahu will address the General Assembly this Thursday, local time. The 79th General Assembly will focus on three key issues facing member states. There will be a high-level meeting discussing the threat of rising sea levels, a critical topic of discussion for island nations. Another high-level meeting will cover antimicrobial resistance, which is when parasites no longer respond to certain medicines. And finally, leaders will discuss global nuclear disarmament.
Then there's questions about the United Nations itself and how it functions. The Security Council has been criticised as being ineffective, and how to restore its credibility is likely to be discussed by leaders during the General Assembly debate and on the sidelines of High-Level Week.
I think the fact that the UN Security Council is kind of unable to have any meaningful role in solving, the four biggest conflicts in the world at the moment, Ukraine, Gaza, Myanmar and Sudan, casts like a dark shadow over the entire UN and causes people to lose faith in the future of the UN.
Leaders are likely to discuss the prospect of adding new countries to the Permanent Council's 5 current members. The US has voiced support for 2 permanent seats for African nations and another seat to be rotated among small island developing states. But there's scepticism that will lead to any overnight change.
That is a political pipe dream, because that is not how the council works, and everybody knows that. But what would be the difference is that you would actually have a more representative council.
Member states are likely to call for change at the UN this week, as they have before. But analysts say it would take a major event, something bigger than COVID-19, to really force change. Mitch McCann, CNA, New York.